Good evening. Hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream of Prayer and Share, Campbell County's Christians' own version of a Wednesday night prayer meeting. We're happy you joined us. And if you're watching live, very cool. If you're not watching live, that's very cool too. We'll accept whoever comes in, right?
Absolutely. Now, later on after that,
And after that, views. I'm Pastor Andrew Van Karen. This is my beautiful wife, Sheila, joining me. And
I did my invitation.
You did the invitations.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight we will be talking about respect.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Not really, the way I see it.
Yeah, well, seems to be a lot of it lacking these days.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that.
Do you have treats for our dog?
I do, actually. You want to start out, or you want? Okay, I'll start out.
You start out, I'll get the treats.
All right, I'll start out. So, friendly reminders here. If you are joining us on Facebook, a lot of times I send out co-hosting message when I do the event creation. So if you get a co-host invite or something appear in your notifications, please share. Please share that. Send it out to your friends, your family.
Yeah.
We're after to spread the word. I'm a nobody, okay? I'm a nobody for Jesus Christ. It's the message that counts, and that's what we're trying to do, is get the message out to as many people as we can. Maybe you know somebody that needs God or Christ in their life.
That's it.
That's
okay.
A good way to do it. And if you just want to reimburse your worship and get the spiritual education or fellowship, it's a good way to do it too. Also, we have made some improvements to our YouTube channel. So if you do have a YouTube channel, please go into YouTube and subscribe. That would do us a world of good. We're trying to spread the word through YouTube also. And I see that some people have joined us on YouTube, and thank you very much. And tonight I have a question for everybody.
Okay.
Everybody that's joining us, whether you're live or joining us later on. I'm looking for your favorite Christian faith-based podcast. Your favorite Christian-based podcast. Interested in that. Looking for a couple good ones. So if you have some favorites, please type in the message bar and check that out. I appreciate it. So let's start out talking about a little bit of Christian music like we usually do. Tonight, Billboard, Lauren Daigle's still on the Billboard Hot.
My favorite person.
She's like been a number one on the Billboard charts for 89 weeks or some sick amount of time.
It's not to love.
Well, yeah, that's true. Good song.
Yeah, no, and my little friend seems to know that I have extra. Okay, that's all. Go sit down now. She's smart. She knows there's 5 in there. She has 3.
I didn't know she could count.
Apparently she can.
Oh, what kind of dog?
And I think, I think people look beyond the music, right? At least I do, because I think it helps you have that personal connection, or you try and find that personal connection in somebody who's not connected to you, right? Like I follow Lauren and many of the other Christian artists on Instagram. And, they'll put stuff in the Instagram feed, but on their stories, Lauren's pretty consistent about putting stories up with messages. Sometimes they're relevant to what's going on in the world and how she feels about it, addressing her, fans and, her audience or what have you. And then other times it's just silly stuff. But I personally find that it always gives me just like a different view and kind of sometimes a bright spot in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what part of K-Love Radio is so popular with people, because it lifts you up during your day. Some
right.
Good uplifting music and messages. It never hurts. And Corey Asbury is the other number one in the Christian Top 40.org website, and that is Corey Asbury, My Father's House. So those seem to be the two top songs going on right now in the Christian artists, Christian pop, if you will. Right? And then we also heard today that Amy Grant had open heart surgery. The Amy Grant, the Christian music legend.
Yeah. I mean, I guess she's doing well. This story wasn't gigantic.
No, but I like it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I saw it on Instagram, actually.
Oh, okay. Cool. Got it off the
Yeah.
ccmmagazine.com.
Oh,
Is where I get some updates and whatnot. And on ccmmagazine.com, you can also go there and they have a feature. It's features on film, okay, and it's from Andrew Greer, who is also a producer, Christian music artist, and he does some really cool interviews with like Newsboys United.
mhm.
I was just listening to Mike Weaver, right?
Right.
Big Daddy Weave, talking about their latest project, their latest album, what's behind that. So he's got some like really 25, 30 minute interviews, but it gets you into that behind the scenes of how some of these songs came about and the testimonies of the artists and what season they were in, and it kind of connects you more to the songs, if you will.
Well, and I don't think you necessarily have to be a fan per se of Christian music or even that particular artist, right? I think it's an opportunity to get a different perspective on things and hear something positive and instead of all the negativity, right? And chaos. And also I think that it gives you the opportunity to just kind of validate, right? Because I've heard it said before, oh, everybody's a Christian artist now because that's where they make the money. Like
Sure.
There's no meaning in it, right? And I'm sure there are some people who
easier route to fame.
I'm sure
right?
there are some people, right, who are Christian artists because it's an easy route to fame, right? I don't know, but I'm sure, right? That's human nature. Like rock was a easy route to fame, and and gospel, right? So, but I want to think that the majority of Christian artists are there because they've been moved at some point. They've had their own calling per se, right? And I think having those interviews really just gives you some insight into why are you doing this? Like what's in it for you, right?
Well, the Bible tells us that with prophets and disciples, you'll be able to tell them by their fruits, okay?
Right.
And obviously they speak well in the word, and they're out there evangelizing night after night,
Right.
not only just playing their music, but also bringing their testimonies to the stage. So
Right.
I think that's, some of the biggest differences you can have in the music business.
And like I said, on places like Instagram, they're all bringing that same evangelical message, even though they can't be out touring, even though they can't be out performing, right? They're still using their platform in a different way to get a positive message out.
True.
Which I think is good. I mean, I'm personally to the point that I'm going to have to turn off social media because it's literally, giving me a stomach ache.
Well,
and that's not sticking my head and saying. I'm just saying I have on Caleb in the background when I'm working because I think you need that, right? All this negativity infiltrates, and eventually you're feeling pretty crappy. You're feeling pretty crappy about life.
I had to shut the news reports off even, at night, and not watch everything being torn apart. I mean, and we'll talk about that. Michael W. Smith, Christian artist. He did the first drive-in. He would headline the first drive-in concert series they're having in Nashville. So he said it was pretty cool. People were in their cars and they turned into the FM dial, for broadcasting. But some people got out of their cars and they had tables and made a picnic, or were tailgating,
right,
and things like that. He finished the song and people honked the horns and stuff. And there was about 4,000 to 5,000 people there.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of a cool vibe, I would like to check that out sometime. Go to a drive-in
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
I know Keith
concert.
Urban's been doing it, some other artists,
That's
but it's
cool.
great the Christian artists are doing it too.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know.
I think it's awesome.
So there's something food for thought. We might be seeing more Christian artists and evangelists going to drive-in theaters. Some of them that are left around the country.
Yeah, I don't
You
know how
know?
many are left, but hey, it doesn't mean you can't, pull up a lawn chair in an open field with a sound system on the back of a flatbed truck.
That's right. Country style. So
all you need is a parking lot or a field.
So I thought that was pretty cool. I just wanted to mention that. And lastly, there is a promotion going on by Hyundai, and
Go get it.
it's hashtag healing through music, hashtag healing through music through the social media. And it caught my eye because Lauren Daigle was doing a video call to a patient, a younger patient, one of her fans in the hospital recovering from a serious surgery. So that's very cool that Christian artists are using that avenue also to reach out to people that are, number one, are fans, and number two, need some some uplifting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Got anything else we have here?
No.
That's about what I had to share tonight. So, well, with that, let's get into the word. All right. Please join us in prayer. Dear Lord, we come to you and we thank you that we can come to this virtual platform and meet and pray for our country, dear Lord. Just about the times we thought things couldn't get much worse, they seem to take a turn. But we know that you have answers for us here in your word, dear Lord, and that you are consistent and you never change. And we can believe and find our solid hope in the solid foundation of rock that you are. Lord, I pray this in your precious name. Amen.
Amen.
So tonight we'll be reading from Matthew chapter 7, verses 12 through 13. That's Matthew chapter 7, verses 12 through 13. Yes, it's at the end of the Beatitudes, but we have a special message for you tonight. The caption in my ESV Bible, the golden rule. Hear now the word of the Lord. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Verse 13, enter by the narrow gate. For the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction. And those who enter by it are many. For the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life. And those who find it are few. So saith the word of the Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
Go ahead. That's all. They're all gone. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
The golden rule. Do unto others as they would do to you. Now, here we are. We're watching all this destruction. The violence, the looting going on. And as I view this, my heart sinks in that just general personal respect for personal property and people are taking a downturn. And I'm all about peaceful protests. I really am. Done it myself from time to time in my lifetime. But to be tearing things down and then claiming that as part of social justice is a sin. If you're hiding behind a thing called social justice and that justifies stealing and ripping property apart and thus ripping some people's lives apart, that is sin. No other way to go around it. No other way to put it. You're sinning. Now, the golden rule, it's that Jesus summarized it in one sentence like this. In that the law, part of the law, part of the prophets, as they had seen it back in the biblical days. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And this should not be hard. This should absolutely come natural for true Christians. Just speaking about, hey, the artists will show their true fruits. If you have the true fruits of treating people the way you want to be treated. And then it should be becoming natural. It should be becoming natural that you have that Christian love, the Christ-like love, humility, helpfulness, right? Charity. So I think this is a good time to just talk about respect, talk about the golden rule. I know people laugh at it. They say it's childish. But when it comes down to it, Jesus summarized it. It all comes down to this, right? So, thoughts?
Well, I think, the problem, part of the problem, there are a lot of problems, right? There's a ton of problems. But one of the problems is that lack of respect for each other. And it seems that the golden rule only applies to how I treat you, not how you treat me. And therein lies the big problem, right? And I think that we're at this juncture because society and life has become a one-way hierarchical road, right? It's okay for me to mistreat you, but it's not okay for you to mistreat me, right? It's not okay for us to mistreat each other. And there's the disconnect, right? So, people of power or authority or whatever seem to have also forgotten the golden rule, not unlike the people who are underneath those who don't have authority, who don't have power, have also forgotten the golden rule, right? We've all forgotten the golden rule, and we want to treat others as we want to be treated when it's good for us, right? Well, I want you to treat me like this because it's good for me right now, but I don't want you to treat me like that, because that's not good for me.
Well, another
It doesn't go both ways.
Another sign of Christian character is how you treat people when they can do nothing for you. In other words, if there's something in it for me and you can help me, then I treat you really well. But otherwise, I don't have time for you. I don't have time to care about you. I don't have time to talk to you, whatever. If you're not going to do me a favor, then get out of my way. Okay?
Well, yeah, and I don't think that this problem of do unto others as you would have done unto you, I don't think that's just because of what's going on today, or this week, or last week, or the week before. This has been going on for a long, long time, right? That, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're a politician or a law person or a lay person or a doctor, or, your doctor doesn't get to talk down to you because you're not as smart as he or she is, right? Right? Would you like it if your doctor talked down to you? So it's the simple things in life. It doesn't have to be a gigantic thing to treat people the way you're supposed to be treated. I saw a quote on somebody's Snapchat story, and it went something like this: Jesus suffered and died on the cross, basically to show us how we're supposed to kind of highlight how he was treated, right? So that we don't treat each other like that again. But we missed it. Now I'm misquoting it. I'm not doing it justice, the quote that I saw, but you get my point, right?
Message.
If you watch one of the movies like Passion of Christ, you can't help, if you have a heart beating in you, I don't care if you're a Christian or not, if you have a beating heart, you can't help but be moved by that treatment, which is not too far from some of the treatment that we're seeing on all sides of the fence right now. All sides of the fence. We are all guilty, in my own humble opinion. We all are, because we've lost sight of what we're supposed to focus on. We've lost sight of everything that's happened before us, on behalf of us, historically, biblically, right, politically.
Well, the reason why I read the ESV version, I've read a couple different versions.
Yeah.
Is that they group these two verses together, and I thought that it's applicable. In verse 13, Christ is actually beginning his end to the Beatitudes, right? And the narrow gate. And it just makes me think as I'm watching these people tear apart buildings and structures, people are running into the building and looting, and a lot of people are doing it. And it's like, yeah, you're going through the easy gate. It's easy. You're not paying anything. You're stealing from other people, and you're just going about your selfish business. I mean, Satan's having a grand dance with it. He just must be happy to watch this go on. And they're going through that wide, easy gate. And it says here in the Bible that only leads to destruction. The easy way, the easy gate only leads to destruction. And Christ is talking about the narrow gate that is hard, that leads to life, the life everlasting, the goodness that we can all experience, and the righteousness. And he's going down this road after verse 13. He starts talking about, you're with me or you're against me. You're with me or you're against me. And he starts talking about the pair, right? Pairing. It's like the two gates he just talked about here. The easy, the hard way. Then he gets into the two kind of prophets that you'll see, right? The prophet that is going to be coming to you in sheep's clothing, but really has a ravenous wolf soul. And then also the disciples of saying, well, we cast out demons in your name. You should let us in. Christ says, depart from me. I never knew you. And also the two foundations. He ends up with the two foundations of Christ being the rock. So to me, it kind of blends together. The golden rule is not easy if you're truly living it. And then the easy gate is wide for destruction. And the narrow gate that Christians are encouraged to go through is not easy. Whether you're speaking up about it, whether we're living the life, the Christian life, whatever that case may be, it's the narrow way.
Yeah, and I mean, to be clear, I don't agree with all of it, right? We all saw what's transpired. And like I was saying to somebody earlier today, this is not the first time that we've seen this.
No.
It's more visual and in our face because of social media, because people have cameras and they're at the ready, right? So, but this bad behavior and treatment of each other, no matter who the heck you are, has been going on for a long time. Now, then there's the argument, well, that's why we're having a protest. But I get why you're having a protest. To your point, there's protests and then there's the whole other extreme. And yeah, I mean, and it doesn't have to be in the middle of a crazy situation like this. When pre-COVID, when life was normal in America, you still saw the same behavior.
Sure.
It just wasn't up in your grill 24/7, right? And it wasn't, as blatant, but people still are treating people badly every day, in business, in life, in church, at a church.
Well, I guess, it's up to the pastors to speak up, maybe, and other spiritual leaders and leaders in general, people in general. The Christian part of us should demand that we treat each other better and that we strive for that Christ-like behavior every day.
And hold each other accountable for our behavior. And I think that's a big part of this, right?
It is a big part of it.
I mean, I put a couple of posts up on LinkedIn. Do not post my political views on social media. It's nothing good comes of it ever. But I did put a couple things like, pray more and hate less and be the light, right? Just be a bright light in a really dark world, and how you behave matters.
It does.
I've said that all along, how you behave matters,
not
today,
matters.
But tomorrow and yesterday and the day before.
Because if the easy way is looking for the world's approval, if you're looking for other humans to approve the way you're going about your life and doing things, it's the easy way to go about it, and it leads to destruction. If you're looking for the approval from God, that's the hard way. Living God's commands and Jesus' commands, that's the tough way to go about it, and that's the narrow gate. And it's obeying the golden rule of treating others how you want to be treated. So
yeah, I mean, it's difficult, to your point. It's hard to do the right thing a lot of the time.
Go through the narrow gates.
It's hard to stand up, right? But if you don't say something and stand up for what's right in the treatment, then you're guilty too.
True.
You're being a hypocrite.
Shall we pray? Dear Lord, we pray that our nation would follow the golden rule throughout our society, from the greatest of us to the lowliest of us, that we live the way Christ has taught it. Live the way, God, that you want us to live. The narrow way. Go through the narrow gate. We pray this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
So once again, Sunday we will be on live probably about 5:15. I don't know if we'll be on YouTube or not. I still have to work that out, depending on where we end up. Sometimes we don't have the access to the Wi-Fi and whatnot on YouTube, but we will be live on Facebook Sunday at 5:15. And then next Wednesday, June 10th, almost
I can't
halfway
even
through the
believe it.
year. Almost halfway through the year, we will be on again at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. So, hey, thank you for joining us tonight. We hope that you are going to follow the golden rule and that you stay safe and bestow Christ's love on people that you meet during your day.
Absolutely.
Take care.
The Maggie friend was very quiet tonight.